Hey, what's up, fam? It's here. It's finally here. Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Chapter 1. And I gotta say, this was a. Oh my god, this was a good chapter. So, this is the spoilers for this. So, if you don't want spoilers and you want to just wait until the actual chapter comes out in a few days, I'm just telling you now, spoiler warning. But you might want to hear it because this chapter is thick for only being like 22 pages. Oh my god. So, you can tell I'm fucking excited. Get into some I get really into some of my other videos when there's a really good chapter, but you have no idea of I haven't unleashed my passion for the fairy tale series and how much I love it with some of the videos on my channel. So the chapter kind of starts out the first page, nice color page of this village, and it's burnt down and it's like in ruins, and there's people like up crucified on big wooden crosses, and there's some old man, some staff bearing wizard, like walking away and crying. Does he walk in on this and he mourns for what happened? Maybe he couldn't stop some event or.
For what I was able to tell is that he wasn't able to bring the correct level of force to kind of deal with some crime breaking that went on, some form of violation of the law, and at the time, magic people were very unregulated. It seems to have taken place in X633, obviously long before this series started, and it actually seems to be what led up to the first Wizard Guild to ever have been created as a response to this, as mages and wizards being unregulated and kind of free to do whatever they want.
Maybe it was him and he's a villain. It's very vague on that, but it's just a one page, and then it gets right into the guild. It gets to the Fairy Tail Guild, and there's 3 new members. One of them is this kind of messy haired dude. He kind of looks actually like Finral from Black Clover, kind of like that hairstyle. His first hairstyle, not his second version that he gets for the Royal Magic Knights arc. Just look at him and imagine that, but kind of like in that kind of red color, like Urza's hair color that's used in the manga when it's in black and white and not actually colored red. You get a girl she kind of looks like a mix between Yukino's clothes, like she had that kind of clothing design back during the Grand Magic Games, that really weird kind of clothing style, and Mira Jane, but she has like these big, thick, like drill coils in her hair, and then a little kid who has he's got like black hair and then like a little tuffet of white in the front. At least I assume it's black and white. It might just be some other really dark color and then some other really white color and like a tuffet. He looks like maybe he's Wendy's age, but the little kid seems really nervous. The messy-haired guy seems overly excited to be in the guild to an annoying degree, and Laxus instantly smacks him down. Gadget gets annoyed, and the girl, oddly enough, joined, not because she suddenly wanted to get into, the Fairy Tail Guild for its the kind of family bonds and the acceptance level that they give. It seems that she wanted in because she's actually in love with Natsu after all the stuff he did during the Alvarez War, and I didn't see that coming for a character at all. I figured it would be Gray or something, but funny enough, though, speaking of that, is Juvia somehow connects this character being in love with Natsu as somehow a threat to her love for Gray. Just the way that Juvia is, pretty funny, but it goes over to, she's trying to ask where Natsu is. She wants to meet him. Makarov says that they went on the 100 Years Quest, and from everything I got is rough translation. I didn't know if they said there's 100-year quest or there's, they went on 800 years quest. I'm pretty sure there's multiple. I don't think there was just the one, because one of the reasons is this one doesn't take place on Ishgal, doesn't take place on Rakatasia. It takes place on a third new continent, a brand new one that we haven't seen yet in the series. Not one that's, with all the guys from Ishgal that we know, even from some of the other countries that we know of that we don't know a whole lot about. And then, you got some of the smaller ones. We know stuff with a little bit about Bosco. We knew about Stella from the Dragon Cry movie. And, obviously Fiore. But, the contrast is Rakatasia. We had the Alvarez Empire, all this Brigand 12, and they're kind of trying to get themselves together now, trying to recover their country and be more peaceful at this point. But we don't know anything about this new country. But there's one thing, or continent, sorry, not country. They get there, it's snowing, there's like this really cool kind of, nothing that seems to stand out really. It's just like, okay, cool, there's some fantasy nature, big mushroom. I think it was like big mushrooms and trees and like weird plants, and then but it's snowing. Nothing that really like was like, oh wow, that's cool, but it's nothing appalling. But then something happens. All right, they find this kind of keep, like an old war keep or like a small castle. Kind of just imagine Winterfell from Game of Thrones. Just kind of imagine like a small walled-in castle, kind of like that. Not a huge one, but a nicely sized one. And there's a big stone dragon on it, kind of like in Fairy Tail Zero on top of the cathedral that had the big skeletal dragon. They're like looking at it. They're saying how cool it is, and yeah, it's pretty nice. And then they go inside, and fuck, I gotta say, in one of my videos, I theorized about this. I've been saying it for the past year, and people have been saying that I was wrong, and been saying that I was dumb, and I'm saying it now. Fuck them, because we got a new dragon. We have more dragons. The dragons still exist in the world. My whole thing about my theory that the dragons were able to hide themselves, similar to how Aknologi didn't even know that Irene was a dragon. He didn't notice her, even though he seemed to be able to smell dragons from either continents away or across the planet. And somehow he didn't detect her, is certain dragons lived on, and they were able to hide away. And this guy looks like, kind of like Weiss Logia on steroids. This dude looks intense. And this new writer, or this new artist, his art style is solid. It's good looking, it's crisp, it matches up with Fairy Tail style, it matches up with Hiromishima's style, and man, you guys are going to like this. This is a solid chapter. This new dragon, from what I could tell, don't take my translation of like names and like statements as 100%, because obviously my translation ability is very rough. This guy, from what I could tell, his name is Elef Celia, and he's not a light dragon. He's not a poison dragon. He's not a lightning dragon. He's not a rock dragon. He calls himself the Law Dragon. He's the dragon of law. And who knows what that could be? Could it be some form of crazy, like, reality warping where he could say certain things? Like, maybe he's like an elder dragon and that's why he's still alive. Could it be that maybe it has something to do with law, the dark magic that Zeref taught Mavis, and Mavis passed on to Makarov, so on and so forth? Or maybe it's kind of like on Freed's runes, like maybe he means it kind of like a runic way that he can, say something, it'll set like a rule, or, do it with a roar, and he can kind of lay out like a glyph, like scriptures that people have to abide by, something crazy like that. But from what I could tell of what he was saying, he kind of greeted them, said it was like the 99th attempt that, adventurers had tried to come into his keep. I believe, don't take his words as accurate as I say, because like I said, my translation abilities aren't that great, but he kind of talks about the way that I got it between the two. It was either he was talking something about fulfilling a pact with some demon woman, or fulfilling like a pact he had with magicians, or something about fulfilling something for magicians. And the thing about it, if it might be for the humans, might be for the magic folks, it might have something to do with the Magna Carta. For, if you remember from the whole pact, that the side of the dragons that wanted to stop eating the humans and see them as as fellow people, as maybe not equals in terms of power, but equals obviously in terms of as other sentient, intelligent beings. The kind of like the way that the Exceed kind of really are within the Fairy Tail world. But other than that, the next chapter, again, rough translation, don't take my translation 100%. The next one is called Magafarigo. Maybe that's the name of the continent. Obviously I might be incorrect on that. Don't take that 100%. But We got new guild members. We have some mysterious event bad guy or sage or something wandering around, and somehow being either showing up too late or causing destruction of villages. We've got a new continent. We've got a new dragon. We've got all this brand new shiny stuff that we're going to be exploring. And this is going to be awesome. I'm so excited for this. I'm amped up for this spinoff, and I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm already digging this new author. The script, though, is written by Hiroshima. It is canon. It is tied to the story. It takes place immediately following chapter 545, when the Fairy Tail main team, Natsu, Wendy, Lucy, Happy, Carla, and Urza, went out to do the 100 Years quest. It happens immediately afterwards. So this is gonna be thick. And I have to say, again, fuck yeah, my theory was correct. There are still dragons left in the world. The dragons are gonna have some impact. And even if there's only one, that's still one fucking badass dragon in there. And I bet there's gonna be more. I'm amped for this. I am so excited to do more about this. This is going to be great. So anyway, thank you very much. Drop some comments below on what you think about this. Maybe check out my other videos. I do mostly manga with some comics. And I have the manga. I mostly do Fairy Tail content, Eden Zero content, and Black Clover. And then a mix of a bunch of other stuff. But otherwise, thank you very much. So maybe subscribe to my channel. And goodbye.
Oh, I forgot to mention Gray for the team. Yeah, also Gray. Sorry, Gray.